Well, I guess let's just keep running generations and see if Naihu Kim can make moves on Vairoki. This is very stable right now, it feels like. The last time we saw a new generation really explode was Naihu Kim, which was 35 generations ago. No one new has really like planted themselves in a significant position for a long time now, which is weird. Like, this is still too early for it to stabilize for good. And I see risk is continuing to increase because the lines are continuing to diverge. Someone has to figure out how to stabilize it. Naihu Kim got it. Okay, Naihu Kim has the majority, but like, I would not have expected to take that long because remember, they were only like 5 away. This is a 40-point deficit to a 20-point like profit or what, surplus or whatever. That's crazy. So like the inverse of that like unlucky event happened, and Naihu Kim now has the majority, but not the top spot. Vairoki has that. It's so funny that Kemiku is at the bottom of this genealogy chart. When they went extinct in generation 67, Naihu Kim wasn't even born until generation 141, but it's technically higher on the family tree. That is crazy. And also, Vairoki is losing a lot of ground. Okay, I guess the two-party system doesn't always work, but I mean, it's not over yet. Vairoki still has the top spot. Like, that's they seem to be good at just getting the top spot, but like they can't hold on to much more than that. And there's just so much like clusters, swaths of orange cells at the bottom. You can't be doing that in this day and age, Vairoki. You're probably gonna plunge below 100 in the next generation at this rate. Yeah, 99, and now Naihu Kim has 70% of the population. So now we're gonna be in the Naihu Kimian era, and they will be the overdogs that I want to be dethroned, and the underdogs need to come from elsewhere. Wow, well, I guess, you know, I was really happy that we had like almost like 25 generations where it felt like a 50-50 split. Those always like entertain me because you don't know which way it's gonna go. Naihu Kim new record, 398 creatures. That's higher than Vairoki ever got. Vairoki's peak was 344, I think. And who's this? Who's this? Nejik? Whoa. Hold on. Okay, so top is Naihu Kim, and then Nejik is just a new variation, and they have the top spot, and now they have the top 2 spots. Whenever you see someone has both of the top 2 spots, that's really promising because it wasn't a fluke. And they are a descendant from Naihu Kim, and their mutation is the last cell on the 3rd row. It looks the same to me. Maybe it got bigger or something, I don't know. Nejik has all the top 3. They're actually not that much higher than this, though, because Naihu Kim's top people all have like 57, and these are all 50. Oh, this one's 58, but that's like only marginally higher. So will Nejik take over? Nejik is up to 18. That's like, this is exponential growth now. They have all the top 4, and it's like they're not letting go of that top spot. 58, 58, 57, 57, and then it's 57. So they're probably going to be on the chart next time. There you go. Nejik has 28, Levom has 35, and Vairoki has lost their label. They're at 18. So Naihu Kim is now the oldest species that has a label, which is crazy to say because they were just a newbie on the chart. They've been having in the high 300s for a long time, but I still feel like they are like the grandchild of something interesting. 54. Oh, there we go. Ooh, Nejik's on the chart, on the table, you know, as a descendant of Naihu Kim. Very expected. These are the only 2 species that are really prominent, although I like... Oh, yeah. Okay, so it is... The mutation is that the front cell gets brighter, but it's not during this phase, it's this phase. It's like this one, now it's a more cyan, which means it's taller. So yeah, it just made its front edge taller, so that's good. So that there is a noticeable change. I'm glad about that. Maybe I'll watch a sample. Yeah, the foot goes up to like here. I think the front foot is going higher for Nejik. It's like a kick. Nejik rhymes with kick, whereas Naihu Kim is not quite as high, but I can't verify that. MyPyZib. I think these names are getting a little weird. MyPyZib has the top spot. Their mutation is... Oh, the upper right cell. That's a boring mutation. It became opaquer. It's always like they get opaquer and brighter. That seems to be like the good mutations seem to be firmening up your body, like more flexing, more strengthening. Weakening your body never seems to help, so that's kind of helpful to know. Oh, MyPyZib is at 59, and now is a sibling of Nejik, and they're like twinning. They're both twinning to take down Naihu Kim. Okay, so both mutations of Nejik and MyPyZib are like focusing on the headlight. I'm calling the 2 cells in the upper right the headlight of the creature, and both these guys brightened their headlights, but MyPyZib brightened the top of the headlight, whereas Nejik brightened the bottom of the headlight, but just like a different phase, like afterward. I'm gonna change MyPyZib's color because it's kind of blending into both the ones above and below it. Ooh, that's different. Okay, MyPyZib is now a deep purple to contrast with Pybixo and Nejik. Pybixo, whatever. I don't know. I'll let you know if some interesting mutation comes out. But it seems like right now, Naihu Kim is just reclaiming its territory. 373 now. I turned on ALAP, which means that it's going to keep running generations without me asking it to, and I can turn off ALAP when I start to see something interesting, because I do think by generation 230, there just isn't something interesting every single generation. 471, I don't know how this happens. Like, I guess they just struggle to find a mutation that's a big mutation that really helps. So, like, I guess it's a period of, like, little mutations being the answer. Like, it's a case where you have a very good form, but you could just polish it up a bit. And, like, we're just kind of waiting for the RNG to select a big mutation that actually helps. So, yeah, this is the Naihu Kim era, and it will last for an unknown amount of time. Hopefully not as long as the Bali Tip era. At this point, the Naihu Kim era is almost as long as the Bali Tip era. Like, look at all the pink. There might be more pink at this point than lavender, which is crazy. Wait, do you see the median's kind of curving up faster and faster? I don't know what's going on. Oh, this might be Naihu Kim really, like, honing in on one form and just sticking with it, and now it's getting less risky. And we're going back to, like, this dominant era of Bali Tip where, like, everyone looked the same. I want to see a big mutation that I can understand at least end this era, because I know, like, we've had 4 eras, but I want to see a 5th. Then I'll be happy. Then the simulation, like, I'll be happy with it. But is Naihu Kim going to be the last species to ever exist in the simulation? Come on, there has to be another. Like, I've run simulations to, like, 900 generations, and, like, there'll still be a takeover. It just needs one lucky mutation. We're just, like, rolling the dice over and over again until one die lands on, like, the jackpot. Oh, Saiwo Site. Okay, that's a new person. Let's see. Oh, no, there's 2 of them. Okay, Korapil and Saiwo Site. So Saiwo Site has the higher rank of 3, and here's how it walks. And its population is 31. Its mutation is, oh, interesting. So it makes the top second cell really, really narrow, like to the point that's almost like a line. So it's really trying to pull the top row as close together as possible during that phase. Korapil, which I think is kind of pretty of a name. That one, this is a greenish yellow. It's also a mutation on the top layer. Korapil widens the top, Siwosite narrows the top. See, like, Siwosite has a narrower, I don't know which phase it was, but, like, Siwosite's trying to, like, really pull the top closer together here. It's interesting they both popped up around the same time. Will either of them be able to continue the upward growth and overtake Naihu Kim? It seems like they have a bit of momentum. You just need to get 50 and then you're in the history books forever. Do you realize that? 41, that's a record high. You're only 9 away now. 56, okay. So Korapil, the narrower, 68. Okay, this could be it. So Korapil actually has 68 people. So now it's 1/6 of what Naihu Kim is. This could be the Naihu Kim killer. Yeah, now that, like, they've been evolving for quite a while and some of them get into, like, the high 70s, there just isn't room for a really powerful mutation to take over the population really fast. So you end up with these battles that take a long time where, like, it keeps going back and forth before a species takes over. Whereas early on, as you saw, takeovers happened, like, almost within the span of 10 generations. Korapil is back to, like, around 50, so I guess it did not have very good momentum. But Naihu Kim's, like, consistently getting in the mid 300s. Like, I want to see a mutation that really makes logical sense, that I can be like, yeah, I would do that if I were the inventor of this species, and tweaking things to make them run faster. I could see why someone would have that reasoning, but I'm not seeing those anymore. Okay, new species Zohaihi, and Naihu Kim is only about to at 2/3 of the population, but what is Zohaihi doing? So they're all kind of green. I kind of like that because it's like the green team is kicking out the pinks. So Zohaihi's mutation is an internal one, making it whiter. Yeah, all the mutations seem to be like make these internal cells whiter, like strengthen the core. 101. Oh. Zohaihi hit 51. Okay, so now that these 2 siblings are both on the chart, I should try to figure out, like, what their identities really are. So Korapil, I think, yeah, it's making that top one more opaque. The top row here, when it's wide phase, making it more opaque. For the apex Korapil, the right foot is more opaque. Like in Naihu Kim, it's very transparent. Like when this pauses, you'll see it. Look at the right foot, like the lower right cell. For Naihu Kim, it's barely there at all. For Korapil, it's actually quite opaque, and I don't know if that maybe moves the center of mass forward at all, or maybe it's like adds more weight to it. I'm not really sure. And then for Zohaihi, so like if you look at the third cell in the third row, it was a deep magenta before, and now it's like a pinkish color, which means it's bigger, but it's like very hard to notice how much bigger it is. Clearly Chlorophyll, the one with the opaque front foot, it has a more grand... Oh my god, Chlorophyll is half the population of Naihukim, and Naihukim might lose their majority. Oh, not quite. 246, okay, Naihukim has lost its majority, so for the first time in like what feels like forever, when they gained their majority in generation 184, they finally lost it in generation 483. They had the top spot with a fitness of 79.36, and remember their thing is like the front foot is more opaque, and also some cell at the top is like whiter. So Chlorophyll is pink here, Naihukim is not pink there. So when it's pink, it's shorter, and I don't know if that's noticeable, but yeah, like white, pink. So let's see if like being short and close to your core really helps Chlorophyll. I mean, they clearly have the upward momentum, although it's very slow to take over. Chlorophyll has the best creature, the median, and the worst, despite... Wait, they have the majority already. I didn't even notice that. Chlorophyll just like instantly got the double ring from Naihukim, ending the Naihukim era, and now it's Chlorophyll. So I don't know, like, is it going to keep taking over, or will it be a two-party system from here on out? Only time will tell. Well, it has a slight lead, 223. Chlorophyll has the majority, it's 256 now. Kojatib has now made it onto the genealogy chart. Okay, they are exceeding my expectations. I thought they were just going to be a flash in the pan. Naihukim has 6 children now, 2 of which are alive. Oh, Zohaihi died. Well, that's too bad. But yeah, Chlorophyll now outnumbers Naihukim 2-1. And I feel like now it's like long overdue. Like Naihukim had so much time in the sun. I'm not sad at all about them. Like, oh wait, things are turning around? What's happening? What? Wait, okay, look at this. Naihukim 135 to Chlorophyll's 292. Like, Chartreuse outnumbers Pink over 3-1. And then just like, okay, it's still over 3-1. And then like, why is it gaining like plus 25? And then like plus 30, plus 30, plus 30. Like now Naihukim has a majority again, and they have all the top spots. So I guess a bunch of minor mutations got its top spots again, but I don't know, that's so fast and so unexpected. Oh my god, it's now 2-1 in the other direction. Oh my god, are you serious? Oh, it's 3-1. How did that happen so fast? Like what caused that? Now it's like almost 4-1, and Chlorophyll's almost like out of the triple. Oh my god, okay. Well, that was by far the most successful takeover attempt yet, but it clearly wasn't enough. And also, like, the Naihukim fight back response did correspond to a slight increase to the median. So maybe Naihukim was like, okay, it's time to actually be competitive and, like, improve myself, because clearly that's what it takes. Okay, now it's a 15-1 ratio. Chlorophyll's been eliminated from the labels. I did not expect that. Like, what? I don't even know. I just don't understand. Chlorophyll just died. Okay, well, maybe Naihukim was, like, having vengeance. I don't know, that's a little anticlimactic. Like, we're not going to see any 5th generation species, are we? But, you know, there's always room for improvement. Someone's going to try. New species alert Vilafi, who already has 45. That color's way too close, so I'm going to change that. I know, I changed Naihukim's color by mistake. Okay, I'll try to change Naihukim back to pink as close as possible. Okay, that's pretty close. So now we're looking at Vilafi, whose mutation is the 2nd cell on the top row. And what did it change to it? It made it blue. So it used to be very transparent, but now it's blue. So that means it's getting taller. So it's doing the opposite of what Chlorophyll did, I think. It's trying to make the top taller. So like when the whole body is like really stretched out wide, it's trying to boost the height of it. Like if you pause it and look side by side between the ancestor Naihukim and the Vilafi, they should, apex Vilafi, it should be taller. And I guess it does help because the mutation went from 80 to 81 to eventually 82. But I think we need to change this color. Okay, so I made Vilafi this sort of orangey gold yellow color. But Vilafi is trying again, and so now they're up at 61, so they're on the chart. It's Naihukim's 7th descendant, which is crazy. But Naihukim has outlived all of them. But Vilafi has the top spot. I do want to point out, that is like a really strong indicator is if you have the top spot, because that's the one that is the most likely to survive, of like 99.9% chance of surviving. So the only way it can really be ousted is if the other species beat it, and then it gets really bad luck. Pytef, who's Pytef? So Pytef is a descendant of Vilafi, but they're already at 52. And this guy mutated its upper left cell to be Bright Sign as well. It's weird how that cell, when you watch it walk, it does this like counterclockwise rotation. It's like spinning as it's kind of like reeling from the extended phase and like it needs to kind of scale back. It's doing this rotation that's very satisfying to watch, but I don't really know what the difference is between Velofi and Paitef. Naihu Kim's team is losing people faster than it did during the Korapil coup attempt. They're about to lose the majority. They only have majority by 1. Paitef is like, wow, Paitef has the number 2 spot. Okay, Naihu Kim got the top spot back. Velofi is now number 4. So Velofi is actually, whoa, Zemib? Zemib's on the chart too. Now there's 4 vying creatures. This is the most diversity I've seen in a long time. Zemib is another descendant of Velofi, so that's Paitef's sibling. And the mutated cell is the first cell in the second row, and it became really white, like unbelievably large and white. Like, do you see how it's also part of that rotating pack in that corner that seems to rotate a lot? For Velofi, it was transparent and a kind of pinkish. Well, you can't really see it, but it's pinkish. But now it's like blazingly white and larger. I don't know why you would want that though. For most everyone, the bottom left tiles, or the bottom left and the upper right tiles are white. But for Zemib, there's an upper left tile that is also white. Yeah, right there. So you see how white the upper left is there? White. For everyone else, it's not white. This guy's not white. It's like a kind of pinkish color. Naihu Kim loses their majority very violently and like conclusively down to under 40% of the population. They're down to like 39%. Ooh, Paitef's on the chart. Oh, Zemib's on the chart, I mean. Velofi was so new, but they already are bottom heavy and already have 2 descendants. Like, they're twinning, 78 and 83. They're really close in population. I really like that because they're both blue, but they're very distinct shades of blue. Velofi already reached its peak. Like, it already is descending because it was 154 and then 137. So maybe Naihu Kim will keep its lead just for 1 more generation. Velofi, as expected, is like not pulling bigger numbers. It's just too bottom heavy. Naihu Kim is also bottom heavy. Yeah, Zemib. Oh, okay, so Paitef, this is so crazy because Zemib is like the newer one, but like, and it was like behind for a long time, so he's like behind, and then it like became the bigger twin, 98 to 93. Then it's behind again, but like, it keeps flipping. Like, they really are so close that you can't distinguish them. We're literally like, of the top 3, they're all different species. Paitef takes the top spot. I would have never expected that, which means that Velofi never got a single day when they were the lead. So the double ring transfers down 2 generations to Paitef. Velofi was always like a second, third place citizen. And now look, it's 102, 139, 102, 136. I've never seen it this close of a 4-way tie between Naihu Kim, Paitef, Zemib, and Velofi. Like, this is an extremely close distribution. I think Paitef is still more top heavy, so I think it's going to win. And Velofi will continue to fall. That's my prediction, at least. Paitef expands its lead. Zemib's right behind them. And now Velofi and Naihu Kim are both in the double digits. Oh, yeah, Velofi's off the chart with only 24, so barely off the chart. Naihu Kim's down to 67. It's not looking good. There's barely any pink left. Oh, Penup's on the chart now. Now Naihu Kim has 8 living children, or not 8 living children, but 8 children total. 2 of them are alive. So yeah, there's 1 living overlord. That's the grandparent. Then 2 parents, and then 2 children. Oh, Zemib is like having a lot at the top. So even though Paitef has the even majority, exactly 50%. Like, there's all this stuff, this dark blue at the top that makes me think Zemib could actually grow from here. Paitef loses like a lot of points, like 18 points. Who gained them? It's Zemib. Zemib's gaining points, like a lot of them. Zemib has a lot of people in the top row. I don't know who's gonna end up being the final champion because these simulations always end with one species just having the entire population and then it just never changes from that. But we are still in a like very anyone could win situation, and Naihu Kim's not letting themselves go below like 45. Like, they're continuing to like rebound. Although they're not like doing a massive comeback, they're still like not letting themselves disappear. Naihu Kim lost their label from 39 to 24. So that's the end of an era. Zemib took the lead from Paitef, so that's how close they are. Oh wow, this Naihu Kim is airborne when the camera stops shooting. Actually, are they all airborne when the time limit is hit? Do they jump off the ground for joy when their work shift is over? That one's barely airborne, but not as the last one was funny. Piggies is number 1. Who the heck is Piggies? And they have number 3 as well, and number 7. Piggies might be the new creature. Like, let me see what They are a descendant of Zemib. Oh, so Zemib has a child as well. Similar in colors to Penep though, so... Okay, there we go. Piggies is red. Yeah, Piggies is red. So Piggies has the top spot. And they're a descendant of Zemib, so they're the first 7th generation species, I think. So they mutated the last cell on the 3rd row up, and they made it even shorter. So it basically, like, that row entirely collapses. Piggies is up to 13, and, well, they've been dethroned. Now Zemib has the top spot. Okay, Zemib is now 240, and Pytef is 200. So Zemib's lead is growing. Naihu Kim is at 2. This is basically it, and they're both near the bottom. Penep is at 12, and Piggies is at 18, so Piggies is continue to grow. Oh, they're extinct. Look at that, Naihu Kim. They were first birthed in generation 141, and they went extinct generation 590, reaching an apex of 488 of all 500 creatures. That's like 98% of them. This was the most that Naihu Kim dominated. Only 12 creatures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 weren't Naihu Kim. So that shows how dominant Naihu Kim was. And Piggies is on the chart now with 27. Still very top heavy. Zemib and Pytef doing just great. Let's do a lap now. Let's just see what happens as we progress through time. Ooh, uh-oh. One twin might be getting too greedy now. Pytef is almost... Oh my god. Oh my god. Pytef has the majority, and the others don't even add up to like half of that. Raihuri is a new one. Okay, a lot is happening right now. Why is so much happening? Okay, so Pytef has 276, has the top spot, and Zemib is down to 79, so it's now like a 3 or 4 to 1 ratio. So, oh, they're an ancestor. They're a descendant of Piggies. They're going to be a 7th generation creature, and the mutation is an internal cell, which I am very not good at reading. So wait, how's Raihuri's looking? Raihuri's like kind of good. Kind of smattered all over the place. But Pytef, okay, they are getting really greedy. The twin who sabotaged the other. Zemib's off the chart. So betrayed. The 3 of these, this is the Zemibian line, need to fight up against Pytef, because Pytef is like quickly reaching 80% of the population. And they were the flamboyant, show-offy one. Now they're showing off too much, please. Zemib's continuing to fade, but its descendants are holding the fort down. Pytef is just like dominating. Like, remember when we had this? We had 2 shades of blue. That was good. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this now? Okay, I'm over dramatizing. This is just fictional creatures. Zemib still has 2. Piggy's 10. Raihuri 5. That whole line is like gonna die off at the same time, I bet. That would be like the most tragic way to go. A whole family. Zemib has been extinct. Now it's 0. And 9 for this. 2 for that. Oh, it is looking so bad right now. Okay, well, I guess I'll A-lap now, and we'll just hope that Pytef doesn't rule for the rest of all time. But if that is what indeed happens, so be it. You know, we had a good run. We saw a lot of creatures moving to the right. They got to almost 100 centimeters. We saw eras come and go. Okay, I wanted to stop it at generation 750 because something historic happened. The first ever creature walked over 100 centimeters in just 10 seconds. You know, that's the 1 meter mark, which is a big milestone, so let's just watch it. It is indeed a Pytef creature, because the Pytef species was never overtaken by any other rivals for hundreds of generations. But you can see it did go 100 centimeters. It gets extremely wide in phase 2, like boom, like that. And the top kind of just like jiggles in place on top, but there is some stabilizing elements up there to kind of hold the bottom cells in their place. And I just think it's really cool. So I'll keep letting it run. I'll just assume Pytef will like have the dominance for the rest of all time unless something crazy happens. But here's what I'll do. I'll run it until the median hits 100 centimeters, and then I'll scroll through the entire history and we can watch how the creatures evolved. Okay, so here we go. The median is now 100.98 centimeters, and you know, here's a median performance by another Pytef creature, and you know, it just kind of looks like all the others, which, you know, I guess you'd expect. Here's the best creature, which goes 105 centimeters in 10 seconds, and you know, it also just pushes along that bottom foot really hard. These cells are not, the white cells from the Zemib species are not very white here, so that's interesting. Anyway, so I'm just gonna press the right key as we go through time. Noxiso has the dominant force for the, you know, first 25 generations. Then Paimon, but then Bolytip resurges, and Noxiso's descendant Kemiku tries to hold on, but pretty quickly Bolytip becomes the only force that's left. and then it's Tanubin, but Tanubin tried to take over but couldn't. And remember Sabexa, they never made it onto the chart at all. But then like what's crazy is we were waiting for someone to take over, and it was Vairoki, but they weren't really the ones who would be seen for a long time. It was their descendants, the Naihu Kim, who, you know, would end up dominating for hundreds and hundreds of generations. And we're still only 1/4 of the way to the end, but, you know, of course, evolution slows down the further you go. And I do want to point out that, like, if you look at the graph above, there's a huge spike up around generation, like, 120 or 130 in the line at the top. And that corresponds almost exactly to the Vairokian boost, like, when Vairoki took over. You know, when you see big jumps to the graph on the upper end, they usually correspond to some species trying to take over. In this chart, there's only like one moment where that happened, but in other charts, I've seen it happen like once or twice. And well, now Naihu Kim is just dominant for so long, and nothing's really changing in terms of like the genealogy chart. There's just a double ring around Naihu Kim. But then eventually, Korapil shows up, the one who tried to keep things short, and his friend Zohaihi, which tried to be more like a square. Whereas there's Zohai, and Korapil actually succeeded in taking over the population and getting the majority for a short few generations, like 10 or so. And now the double ring is on Korapil, but Naihu Kim took revenge and took it back and then eradicated Korapil so fast that it's kind of crazy to think that any of that happened. Then Velofi showed up. We thought they would take over, but then Velofi actually birthed a set of twins, you know, Paitef and Zemib, and they actually ended up being much more dominant than Velofi themselves. And Penep and Piggies were descendants of people that didn't do much on their own. But between Paitef and Zemib, Paitef proved to be the more greedy twin and took over. And now they have over like 95% of the population, and it might be that way forever. And as you look at the like creatures in the best creature slot and the median creature slot, you are just seeing that light blue sticker always, and it's not changing. Well, maybe every now and then the median changes to some like offshoot species, but that species only shows up for like 1 or 2 generations at a time, and it really doesn't take over the population. So anyway, we're getting close to the generation 800 mark, and that's when the median starts closing in on 100 centimeters, which I feel like is a good success point. I know, yeah, there we go. The end. I was just taking a nap, ready to finish the simulation off and not really use anything, and just assume that when Fukope took over, that would just be the end of it. But if you look at the like here, the best creature like icon, as it changes, when it's stabilized on this form, as time goes on, it just makes that cell in the lower left get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it just continues until it gets to the very end, which is right here. And I'm just gonna let it like, I'm just gonna show a sample to see how these guys work. Oh my god, okay. Maybe this is a bit too extreme. Oh my god. I mean, I guess it works. It got a lot of them to 174, but like they don't even fit in the screen anymore. Okay, well, I guess that's the end goal of everything. It's like one phase you're just really huge, and then the other ones you kind of like, you know, charge your energy up, and then you all release it all at once. It kind of reminds me of like low poly video games, like, you know, Super Mario 64 or something, like when you clip into landscapes or something, because it looks kind of 3D almost. But there's no 3D here, of course, this is all 2D shapes. But Rekka is the winner, and clearly after all this evolution, this is the final result. You may not like it, but this is peak performance. Fukope, like if we watch this, it was still like moderate, you know. Fukope, I feel like when you watch it, you can totally imagine that like this is still biological in form, but really once you get to the very end of Rekka and the others, it starts to feel unrealistic, you know. You can see the colors take over. I mean, I could change the creature's colors to show the transitions a bit better, because it's like pink to blue. That's the one we saw with Paitef, and then eventually Fukope took over. And remember there was that like 3-way thing with like, oh, that was actually kind of late in the whole thing. But it's like, since these are all kind of reddish, purplish pink, none of these are that extreme transition. So this is a Vumuwu or whatever. And then here's like a Wasaiv, but that's red. And then Hwezi is pink again, or dark pink. And then Rhinab is red again. And then after that, Rekka is pink once again. So that's a little bit too much repetition, but it's there nonetheless. So when a creature takes over now, like Rekka took over, it could easily be birthed in the middle of the leaderboard, and as it sort of spreads and takes over, it's not dominating the top. Well, I guess it did take the top spot there, but like as it fills up, oh there, yeah, see it took the top spot. Like here it has the top 5. I guess it still overtakes the population the same way that it always has, but it feels like there's a lot more randomness to it. And you know, it eventually got 500, so that's cool. Some final thoughts. I really do like evolution simulators because I don't know what the ideal like formation of cells is. Like it seems pretty obvious watching these now that, you know, it's really smart to make your cells on the bottom really wide. Like that just makes logical sense, but I like to set them loose and let them figure it out themselves, and you'll end up with strategies you would never have thought of. And I don't like evolution simulators where the goal is something that can be easily defined, such as like, oh, just make the finches brighter in color or darker in color to camouflage better in the soot-filled building landscape. You know, that's something that happened, I guess. I want an evolution simulator where the fitness measure is something that you can't easily just describe with one variable. It has to be a combination of like dozens of variables, such as, you know, the cell's width and height and rigidity across all 16 locations and 3 phases. That's like a more complex situation. And that's why I like evolution simulators like this, because it is so complex that a single person just off the top of their head probably can't deduce what the ideal creature should look like. So yeah, thank you for watching this Jelly Evolution Simulator video, and I'll see you later. Bye everyone!